Welcome back to CryptoWise. That is right. My name is Marvin. Marvin is back, baby. Back with vengeance and furious anger. For those of you who missed me, thank you. But you're welcome. I came back. And we've got a very exciting episode of CryptoWise Chats for you today. We have the CMO, Ben Rogers, of Trivalla.com. Now, for those of you who don't know, Trivalla.com is the largest cryptocurrency travel site in the universe, Cryptoverse, and we have them here today, and we have doing an in-depth interview, so you're not going to want to miss this. If you haven't already, please do us a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, click on that subscribe button, and click on that little bell, because that bell is going to give you real-time updates, and we love all of you. Our community is growing, and we are grateful. Also, if you haven't already, do us a favor as well and follow us on Twitter at CryptoWise Daily. And of course, our Telegram group with our beloved CryptoWise community is at CryptoWise Official. So make sure to join us on Telegram 24/7 chats. Now, if you haven't already, you're about to learn a lot about Trivalla.com with our friend, our new friend, Ben Rogers, who of course is the CMO. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to CryptoWise Chats. We're here with Ben Rogers. He is the CMO of Trivalla.com. Very excited to have you here, Ben. Thanks for being here. I guess my first question. Yeah, thanks. My first question would be about you. I think you're a marketing guy. I believe you came from Google, some other places. I always like hearing about people's crypto origin stories. You know, crypto is kind of a crazy industry to work in. It's a booming industry for sure. So I'd just love to hear kind of a quick little, a little bit about how you ended up in crypto from where you started.
Yeah, great question. So I ended up in crypto as I'd been working in travel marketing in one way or another for about 8 years. And Trivalla, we sort of like bridge that gap between, what you need is we run a travel business daily. One of the unique selling prospects being that we accept cryptocurrencies and we have our own token as well. So I came into it sort of with that expertise, and then sort of have been learning a lot about crypto since then in the last 18, 19 months now. I think it's been that I've been with Trivalla.
And were you a crypto guy at all before that? Did you know about crypto? Did you invest in it at all, or was it a completely new world for you?
I knew about crypto, so I was part of sort of 2017's bull run back then as well too. Back then, sort of, I bought a bit of Ripple and Litecoin, and that did quite well for me. And I was lucky to sort of get out of the top as well too. But after that sort of crashed down, I did go a little bit silent on it, and it wasn't something I was interested in terms of investments. So after that, I actually became a bit of a startup guy. So I was all about sort of investing in yourself, investing in businesses, and growing that stuff. And since I've come back to Trivalla, that I'm now very much into crypto.
Awesome. So how long have you been with Trivalla now?
It would be like 18, 19 months.
Right. And I believe that Trivalla merged, right, with Travel by Bit, which was another company. And so were you always with, were you part of that merger?
I was part of that merger. So I was with Travel by Bit. I was their CMO, and then we joined up with Trivalla.com. I became CMO with them.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah. And so I'm just curious, how did that merger go? How is it going? Is it kind of, does it feel like one big company now? And I'm curious, take us behind the scenes on when a merger like that happens. What does that feel like to be part of something like that? And how did this one play out?
Well, I think it's been very successful, and I think you hit the nail on the head there that we are one company now. Travel by Bit had been focusing on sort of flights and crypto, and Trivalla had been focusing on the hotels. So sort of bringing those two things together, it made a lot of sense. The Travel by Bit, we had sort of the Binance connections as well, so bringing that across to Trivalla, that was something they were pretty eager for. And Trivalla had a token, which was something that Travel by Bit didn't. So we sort of complemented each other in a lot of ways. There wasn't really too many situations where there were like sort of duplicate capacities, or any sort of egos that were an issue. So I would say it was rather smooth. I mean, in any sort of merger or any sort of like company restructure that you're a part of, there's always going to be change management, and we definitely went through a change management stage. Bringing the two companies together did mean that we were bigger. We had more product offerings and stuff as well. We're dealing with more money. There are sort of people who are there in the early days who get used to working in a particular way, and then there's more people in the business, and that obviously needs to change. Whether that be reporting structures, how you get things done, and there's always sort of healthy conflict as you work those things out. There's not been anything I would say look back at this merger and say, what, we really sort of stuffed that part up, or whatnot. I don't think there's anything I've ever done in my career that I don't look back on and be like, oh, with the power of hindsight, a couple of things could have gone better. But yeah, with all the details that was there, yeah, went incredibly smoothly, incredibly well. And now, as we are as a company, it's kind of hard to remember that we used to be two.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just have a quick question. Is it public knowledge how the merger took place? Is there a value to that transaction? Was it an acquisition of Trivalla, or was it a merger of the two companies together?
I'm not too sure about that. I'm not sure what was made public, and
No problem.
there was some details. Guys, I have like a tiny memory, right? So anything really that happened like 2 weeks ago, I'm gonna really only remember top level details.
No,
there was press releases and stuff out about the time. So whatever was in those press releases, with details there, there was comments from CZ and stuff on it as well. So
But I guess
there is some information in the public.
Right. But I guess you were with Travel by Bit at the time, and because now it is just all Trivalla, I guess was Trivalla the bigger company at the time, or was the decision made to keep that as the brand because they already had the token?
So initially, there was no immediate kind of discussion about what was going to happen with the two brands. I mean, Trivalla.com had a bigger tech team, so that's definitely a plus in their column. Trivalla.com obviously had a token, so that was definitely another tick in it. But when we first got started, at the time, I was really pushing for us to sort of build a really strong sort of back end API, and then effectively have the two front end sides working as their own brands, and even sort of cross sharing marketing. That isn't how things went, but there wasn't sort of a definitive which way are we going to sort of go with that. That kind of sort of worked itself out over time.
Yeah, that's cool. And you mentioned there was mention of Binance there, and I think it's important for our community to know that Trivalla is now backed by Binance. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's how we put it. They're an investor in us. We work quite closely with their teams in different ways. They share expertise with us. We share expertise with them. It's one such things is like they've had some input into sort of the security of our site as well too, and upping some processes there. And then similarly on the back end of that relationship, they've obviously launched their Binance marketplace. And the first thing to go live in the Binance marketplace in their app is actually Trivalla.com hotels. So you can book Trivalla hotels directly from the Binance app. So that's kind of a look of sort of how close we are. They very much leave us alone, right? We are off sort of doing our own thing. There's no one, sort of trying to stick their hands in the cookie jar, as it were, or tell us what to do. But yeah, when we need them, we do work quite closely, and it's I think it's a pretty healthy relationship we have with a bigger brand.
And obviously, Binance has been under a lot of pressure lately from regulators. Does that affect Trivalla at all?
No, not really at all. there's no real discussions. Like we are sort of our own business and stuff as well too. So I guess any sort of issues they have are their business, but it does not bleed over to what we do.
And having them back you, does that affect how the token would be able to be on other exchanges?
No, certainly not. Doesn't affect how we go on other exchanges. It hasn't affected, like, say, for example, our relationship with Crypto.com, which they had before as well too. Look, they're very much sort of hands off.
Cool. So yeah, I guess we should maybe mention for those people out there that don't know Trivalla, it is, I guess the easiest way to describe it is it's kind of like Expedia. I don't know, at least in my part of the world, Expedia is maybe the most popular online travel site. So it's like Expedia, but you can use crypto to pay for your travel. There's kind of a selection of different tokens that you can use to pay for things. And if you stake, and Trivalla also has its own token, as we mentioned, that's the AVA token. And there is a program that you can stake a certain amount of Trivalla. You get some discounts for that, and you also get some staking rewards for that. It is an interesting, I'm really was excited to talk to you because I feel like Trivalla is maybe the best kind of example of a crypto company that has disrupted an industry that is well known, that was kind of out there. The online travel industry had disrupted the regular old school travel industry, and now you got a crypto project coming in. It's a very simple to understand use case. I'm curious because it's like a company that runs like companies that we know, like Expedia or whoever, but it also has the token, as you said. How does that work? So how does the company deal with making money for the company, being profitable as a company, but then also making sure that the token has value for the community and the investors in the token?
Look, I could sum that up in one word, and that's the tokenomics. If you get the tokenomics right with the business model, it kind of just push forwards, and that's what I think happens with AVA. So effectively, the more popular we get as a business, the more people who are booking with us, whether they're booking with credit cards, which 30% of people do, or they're booking with crypto, regardless what it is, 70% of people do. Everyone on a booking gets givebacks in the AVA token. There's not too many of them. Supply does reduce over time. And so that value keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up as well. I see, yes, obviously AVA is a cryptocurrency, but I like to compare it to frequent flyer reward programs. These things here, they basically have points. The points are set, centralized by a business on what their value would be. Holding more points give you more discounts, deals, and they can change that at any time, blah, 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 blah. With the token, being that we are sort of traded out there in the market, the value of it is always determined by what people are prepared to pay. We can't sort of just set that or stop that as well too, which does add a lot of value to it. Now, how we manage the interest of the business, again, back to the tokenomics, the more people who are booking with us, the more room nights, the more flights we have, the more people that are owning those AVA givebacks and reducing supply.
Now, was there an ICO for Trivalla? How did you guys initially distribute the token, or was it all
back in the beginning? There was an ICO. There was an ICO back in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. And that was years ago? Do we know?
To the best of my understanding, that was the first year of the business. So that was before my time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I believe it was around 2017 or something, I remember.
Yeah,
now,
correct.
Yeah, I find that interesting. So on Trivalla, you can also use a credit card. So users aren't, correct. It's not crypto only. They can use credit cards, correct, as well as cryptocurrencies. Yeah. Okay, that's very cool. Now, tell me this. In terms of competitive advantage, you guys are sort of you're the largest in the space for sure in terms of cryptocurrency travel. There's no question about it. You guys have done an amazing job, and I think the project's awesome. Now, at the same time, though, I do have concerns around competitive advantage. What stops Hotels.com or Expedia.com or any of these big players in the market from, let's say, partnering with coinpayments.com and allowing cryptocurrency to be an option? Like, what, at that point, how do you compete and what makes you different?
I just straight up say they wouldn't. Right. So, like, and I've gone through this sort of thought experiment a few times here. So, first of all, Expedia and Booking.com in the past tried accepting crypto payments. And if you sort of do some news searches and stuff as well too, you will notice that there were announcements out there. Expedia now accepts Bitcoin, Booking.com now accepts Bitcoin, but they go away because they don't really know what to do with it. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to market it. There's an exceptionally large sort of learning curve for them as a business to get there. Now, we have very close relationships with Expedia ourselves as well. And so we talk to them all the time. And recently, when we sort of expanded on that partnership, their sort of people from their senior leadership were talking about how excited they were to be working with us as sort of the crypto on ramp for some of their product. I'm sort of paraphrasing that, but that's what summed up into it. I mean, look, if another provider was to start accepting, crypto or these things as well, they've got catching up to do in terms of their marketing. Crypto is kind of also a dirty word in the mainstream as well too. So like if they were sort of just going through, they would be concerned what this is going to do for their perception with the average mum and dad type traveler who just knows they've got a friend who bought Bitcoin, lost a ton of money, bought it at the wrong time, bought this, lost a lot of money. It would be a tough thing for them to bring into their ecosystem, in my opinion, and not actually lose money.
Now, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I do think the reality is that there is a likelihood that at some point in the future, if crypto continues to grow on the scale that it is, that some of the existing players will start integrating cryptocurrency as an option. We know there's a ton of speculation this week alone with Amazon talking about introducing cryptocurrency, and we've seen what that's done to the market this week. Now, that's not to say you guys aren't you don't already have, your competitive landscape carved out for you. One of the other thing, and you also have a token, right? And so they would,
do have a token.
which is a big part of your business is the loyalty program and the rewards and everything that's attached to that token, which is something they would have to think through and execute on. So I don't disagree with you, but I do think that there's likelihood that some of these players eventually will start accepting cryptocurrency, maybe not. But at the same time, when I'm traveling, because I like to travel a lot, like all of us, when I'm traveling, I'm using a lot of these sites. I used to be a gold member for Expedia. Now the rewards sucked. I'm way more excited about using Trivalla than I was using Expedia, and being a crypto guy as well. And I fully plan now, after doing research for this video, to stake my tokens and get my level position and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, I'm always looking for deals, right? And so how do you match up against and compete in terms of pricing? Is it a centralized, like, are you guys all pulling from the same feeds and competing in the same way? When I'm booking a hotel, for example, I've got, New York City right now I'm looking at. If I look at any of these hotels and I go onto Expedia, how does that compete? I know there's kind of three primary things around these sites, and the two biggest ones are, deals and pricing. And so how do you compete in that?
Beautiful. If you're a Smart Level 5 member, will be cheaper. So what you're seeing right there, those prices, if you're not a Smart Level 5 member, they are on par with Expedia. And if you're not a smart member, our USP is that we're going to let you sort of spend your crypto. There's 40 plus tokens there. If you're a Smart Level 5 member, we start to become much, much cheaper very, very quickly as well. Once the givebacks and everything has been processed on the transaction. So to get those deals, you need to stake the tokens.
Got it. Okay.
So that's it. I want to go back to you having a relationship with Expedia and you guys talking and stuff. I think that would be surprising to a lot of people. I was surprised by that. So what Marvin was saying in terms of price wise, it feels like all of you guys in the industry or whatever are kind of able to offer the same kind of base price, and that you're not really competing on that level trying to undercut each other in terms of what that base price is. It's like, what kind of perks can you give your VIPs or whatever that is the difference. Am I getting that right?
You are. So like let's look at this from a hotelier's perspective. So the hotelier will pay a commission to whoever it is. Sometimes as low as 10%, sometimes as high as 30%. It generally sits somewhere within the middle. But the hoteliers hate paying that out because if they get the direct booking for themselves, you can obviously understand how those margins add up. Now the OTAs, there's kind of two of them. They've come together and they've effectively said that any price you advertise on your site, you have to give to us. And they pass that through on their feeds. But running a hotel is quite expensive. They're trying to obviously be profitable businesses and these things as well too. So we play within that same kind of margin that everyone does. Now we are bringing out direct contracting soon as well too. So we will enable hotels to onboard with us. And so we will be sort of, I can see that going, that we will be able to be slightly more competitive and stuff as well too. But again, I'm really going to push that competition needs to be for our smart members. I've got the data. Most people who book with us don't care about the discounts. They literally, these are the crypto users. They literally just want the ease of use for crypto. That's just how
Are you able to share some of the data? Like what? How many people are using this site as an example? Like, are we talking hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands?
It is visiting the site, hundreds of thousands. Users of the site.
Yeah.
Using it. I think at last count, we do report on this monthly, so I'm going off the back of my memory.
That's all right.
We were across 100,000 active users.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah, that's huge.
Or we're either at the 100,000 or we're just below it. I can't. As I said, it's more than 2 weeks ago, the start of the month.
That's okay. And has COVID, sorry, Mel, has COVID had an impact on you guys? Did you see, obviously in the last year, travel's been down, right? People are quarantined, can't travel a lot of places. So how did that impact you guys?
Well, there were two sort of dark months there where sort of everyone in the travel industry was looking at things. But straight after that, pretty much month on month consecutively. So this was well and truly by this time last year. I think it was like March, April, May with the dark days. Every month after that, we just hit record month on record month on record month, and we've continued that run as well too.
Wow, that's surprising that it only lasted a couple of months for you guys. And you guys,
so we were growing while Booking.com was firing people. That was all those stories and stuff as well too. Yeah.
And is that because you going back to what you said before about you don't think that maybe other travel sites are going to go into crypto, at least not in the short term. It seems like you really are filling that niche that so you really are targeting crypto users. You're not really trying to get people kind of in the mainstream. Really, would you say the majority of your users are crypto people?
Yeah. Look, the 70% of payments that come through are crypto. 70% of the payments are crypto payments that we get each month. In terms of targeting people in the mainstream, we do. We do have sort of mainstream partnerships. Like most recently, we partnered with Zomato in Portugal, and so they're like paid members. Got sort of some extra benefits for our site, and then our Smart Level 5 members got benefits from there. And these guys are not crypto guys at all that are over there. They're just booking with us because of that relationship we have. And there's a bunch of other of those in the works as well too. But look, yes, our USP is that we let you book stuff with crypto. And so that is really going to be where we do put a lot of our focus and where our growth is.
And so for people out there, our audience, where are crypto people going this year? So COVID hits in this last year. What has been the top destination here for these crypto peeps?
It's domestic United States.
Yeah.
Well, interesting.
I'm assuming there was a huge spike. I'm assuming there was a huge spike to Miami for the Bitcoin conference through you guys.
There was a little bit, yeah, there was.
and that kind of
June
stuff
was exciting.
Yeah. So what, Dubai, Malta, these types of things, you're not seeing huge spikes
Yep.
to these destinations, mainly domestic.
So we are seeing huge spikes, right? So like interesting UAE, yeah, that's doing quite well this year, and that's outperforming what I would expect a traditional global travel site to be doing. The other thing of it is Turkey, another sort of crypto hotspot that does. I shouldn't say hotspot with COVID. Another crypto friendly location. Let's go with that.
Sure.
Yeah, it outperforms what you would expect on the average as well.
And what about in the last few months? Are you seeing any El Salvador? People going to El Salvador at all?
Oh, if we are honestly not in sort of any numbers that
Right.
have made it to the
Hasn't
I'm sure
people
there's
haven't
been a
noticed?
few extras, but nothing exciting yet.
Right. So you just announced that you Super Farm, I believe. You just announced that you're going to be able to use the Super token. I believe
Yep.
that was the last token that you added as an option. People can pay with the farm, or sorry, the Super token soon. I'm curious. So, what is that process? How do you decide which tokens to add to allow them to be used for payment on Trivalla?
Yeah, beautiful. So we have a page for this as well too, which I'll reference for people who are out there. If you do a Google search for Trivalla.com token listings, you'll find the page for how to sign up and look at the use cases there and these things. First of all, there's liquidity requirements, so not all tokens are available. We use it as like a marketing partnership as well. So there is sort of a charge that we put there, and we put that into all the activity you would see for the different projects we do on Twitter, the token travel pages we have on our sites as well. And that runs for 3 years, that relationship, the give backs and things as well. So this is where people can go and sign up. It's not always a straightforward process. Some tokens, as we've discovered, are easier for us to integrate than others. Some tokens take a really long time, and we work quite hard at it. But the best thing you can do is if you are looking for your token, you are a C-level executive of a centralized project, or you're a decision maker for a decentralized project in that you control a node or something like that, and you want to see your token added to Trivalla.com, head over there, fill in the details, and our head of business development would get in touch with you.
And on that topic, maybe you can give a shout out to one of these partners. Is there a token that is maybe not an obvious token that is on Trivalla that is used kind of a surprisingly amount?
Yes, I think it's Stella.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that one it outperforms our expectations.
Interesting. Cool.
We always see that and we're like, wow, it is. That one there is fantastic. It really does sort of punch above its weight.
That's super interesting. Yeah.
And what's the process? So I pay with whichever token I have that you accept. Do you guys are you guys making that exchange into fiat right away and then making the purchase, or
correct?
Yeah, so it's just kind of an easy kind of transaction.
And is there a premium? I know a lot of a lot of coin payments type sites, gateways charge a premium. No?
No transaction fee. All that's built into the price.
Fantastic.
Same way with the credit cards and stuff too. No transaction fees to you.
Cool.
The only thing that is there is that on some tokens there's a minimum spend, and that's just the way the liquidity needs to be. So if you are buying something cheaper, you can't use that token, and it does depend token to token. But that is literally the only limitation.
Yeah, because I noticed actually some of the tokens are surprising. Like they're not maybe all the obvious ones that you would think of. Yeah. So I guess there must be, as you said already, that there is there has to be a certain amount of liquidation. So I imagine they have to be on a certain kind of exchange. Like, would you ever accept a token that was just on Uniswap, say?
So that is coming. From the best of my knowledge, is that is coming, definitely. I don't think we've done it just yet, but that is coming. It's got to have a fair bit of liquidity on Uniswap as well too, from what I'm told. not going to promise a timeline for when that'll be possible, but it is coming.
Cool. And you're a marketing guy, so I would be curious to pick your brain a little bit about crypto and marketing in general. So with Trivalla, I imagine it's very, and you come from a more traditional kind of corporate world. Is what you do at Trivalla very much? Is it a lot different than what you're used to? What are the differences between advertising marketing for Trivalla versus your past experience?
Yeah, it is a good question. So the argument I always have here is that marketing hasn't changed since people walked through the deserts pitching their religions thousands of years ago. You found a problem that people had, and then you've talked about a solution. Just how we talk about that solution and what those problems are is a little bit different. So a lot of the stuff I've done at Trivalla was to introduce a lot of these big things that companies would do in the big world. So Salesforce, Marketing Cloud, all this sort of marketing automation, looking at individual journey triggers, trying to market one-to-one, telling customers, talking to customers instead of talking at them, all these kind of principles that have come through it, moving away from, sales or these kind of short-term campaigns into always-on activity that we can kind of optimize again and again and again. It's really a lot of stuff that I've brought into this. And with some of that growth we've talked about, we can see that that's working. With this here, bringing these things in and talking about stuff the way people want to. Where things would be different to, say, the direct corporate world is generally in travel, or for a company where we are, I would have killed off social media in a normal business. And the reason why I would have killed it off is if you look at the data, it's not really connected to any sort of revenue generally, or the revenue you get from it requires so much work that you're better off putting that energy into other channels. With crypto, being that a lot of the mainstream internet, if you will, is locked down from not being able to advertise, it does have a really strong community on Twitter. It does have a really strong community mainstream doesn't have Telegram on Telegram. And so tailoring the activities that I would normally do in other locations and bringing them to these channels is kind of the change here as well. I guess you could argue we have different market segments as well. As people have almost a religious connection with the tokens that they love and they hold on to, and so it's about us. We kind of segment down sometimes with the communications we do for what we know about a particular community, and how they sort of talk about their token or crypto in general, or the rivalry they might have with another token, which in some cases do exist. So we drill down into that as segments, but you would have other segments within traditional marketing too.
Interesting.
Yeah. The other thing is, if I could just add one more thing here, is being that we're on the social media and it is so successful, it's hard to measure it, right? So generally when I sort of do things, and basically if you hire me, I want to come in and say, hire me, spend money, I will make you a ton more money than you spent on me. That's effectively it. And so I try to sort of live that into all the data-driven stuff that we were doing on social media. It is a little bit more up in the air there as well. So we have less tangible KPIs than revenue, which sometimes can be a little bit frustrating for me. And you've got to kind of just sort of see that the trend is working over time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we need to
get some wisdom.
No, that's Ben. We need to, on your spare time, which I'm sure you don't have much of. If you could help us with the channel, that would be fantastic, because we could use some of that expertise you have right there to help build out the CryptoWise community.
Love to.
Just
but way to put him on the spot there. No, so I'm curious though. I want what you said is really interesting, and I hadn't really thought about this, because there are decentralized platforms or projects. There are a lot of crypto projects that will say that won't market. They're like, we don't market. We have our community. It's just community driven. And for Trivalla, that you have such a business kind of revenue side to things, but you do have this kind of fervent, dedicated community around the token. In a sense, that's kind of like almost free marketing that other companies like. Expedia doesn't have like a really big community out there, like really kind of advocating for it in the way that these crypto companies do. So that must be, is there a way to put a value on that, on what the community brings?
Yeah, look, the one of the coolest things for me when I started crypto was the notion of community managers. You know, these people who might maybe in it in the ICO or an early investor and just love what's going on so much that they want to spend their time answering questions and being involved in the chat. And that is insane. And we're blessed with some great community managers at some Trivalla, some really passionate people who know so much about the business and love what we have. And you're right, it's like Expedia Gold members don't have that. You know, they're
So
not
true.
sitting on a chat in the middle of the night giving up their time to answer questions for Expedia. So yeah, look, there is a value to that. There certainly is. So there is positives to the community. I no doubt can say that. Something is whenever we do put out communications and stuff, and it's quite exciting for us. Like you know, our dedicated fans will jump on that straight away. And that does push stuff out further for us as well. I don't know what the value of that is. I wouldn't know how to measure it. All I can say is that there certainly is one, and particularly with that kind of community support we have. It is an excellent advantage we have over traditional OTA.
And in terms of advertising, marketing, making these sort of decisions, because you are a crypto company really at heart, it does seem like in the way that you're disrupting the travel industry using crypto, although you're not a blockchain company, I think there are projects out there trying to use blockchain in different ways to disrupt advertising, the way that advertising is going to be done. Do you look at any of those? Are there any platforms that you use that you find effective? Yeah, I'd be curious about that.
No.
And do you ever see blockchain playing a big role in online advertising, or do you just think that use case is really people trying to push that?
Look, I do think there is a lot that can be done with blockchain and online advertising. Like you look at Facebook, how often they get in trouble in the past for like their metrics being off and things as well. And you know, people are making revenue decisions in companies based on what they're seeing there and these things as well. And the same is true. There's a lot of ad fraud out there. You know, people who stack ad units on top of ad units to get viewable impressions. There's a lot of gaming that's out there in the world that I think a blockchain solution would be fantastic for. I have read white papers, and there was one white paper I read actually back in 2017 when I first touched in crypto that was incredibly promising in terms of how it was going to use blockchain and the tokenomics of it and stuff were fantastic, how it was going to actually fix some of these big problems. It just didn't eventuate into something. They kind of went away. But I do think some things will come out in the future that will be great. A lot of the blockchain advertising platforms that I'm aware of, they basically create a problem and then solve it. Or they're almost like thinking it's 1960 in terms of like what advertisers or marketers need, and they bring out this product or this platform, and then the price tag they charge on it is it's astronomical. It's not connected to any sort of sensible or modern marketing pricing. But to leave on a high note,
they bring in Don Draper. They bring in Don Draper to do the presentation.
Look, that would be cool. They brought Don Draper and you totally buy it.
I'm all in on that.
It's like a C grade Don Draper they bring in.
What about these blockchain social media stuff? Like, are any of those? Are you guys on any of those or using those as a marketing platform that you're finding effective?
No.
No.
Cool.
So where's your like when you're advertising, are you guys advertising on stuff like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and those types of avenues as well? Or is it like Google PPC directed to people traveling? Like, how much of it is really targeting the crypto user versus the travel user as a whole?
Ooh, good question. CoinGecko, they're an affiliate partner of ours and stuff as well too. So we have affiliates who have banners out there, and they earn commissions if they drive stuff to us. I think I'm talking to on a podcast on Friday from Crypto News. They're going to be one of those such things. So yes, we have banners out there in the crypto audience. The majority of our media spend though goes to traditional display ads and traditional paid mediums. But what we're doing is we're able to overlay layers of our own sort of first party data for people who are on the site, find similar audiences. We're able to overlay travel intenders. And then we also are able to overlay people who are interested in crypto. So we're able to bring all three of those things in, and we're looking for that perfect match where someone hits all three of those categories to show them a banner ad. The other thing as well is we're not banned from advertising like a lot of crypto projects
I was going to say.
because we're saying buy travel.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Spend your crypto, buy travel. We can say that, right? So we can be on like by having ad units on the Washington Post or, the Guardians, like major sort of media sources that people look at every day. And we're building that subconscious credibility about what we've got. And as long as we follow through on the product when they do purchase with us, we've just created a new customer who now holds a little bit of AVA in their wallets.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now, is Trivalla a U.S. company? Your accent isn't from Alabama, I don't think. But is the company based in potentially? Is it a U.S. company?
We're based out of Brisbane, Australia now, and we were founded out of London in the UK.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
But we're spread out all across the world. So yeah, I'm sitting in Brisbane right now. Our head of business development, he's in Portugal at the moment. My head of social media, she's in Canada. Our CEO's in Australia in a different time zone as well. And then, of course, our majority of our tech team is in Vietnam.
Amazing.
So I just want to touch upon the AVA token for a sec here. And obviously there's been a lot of volatility. I mean, this year has been amazing. I mean, if we look back, say the last 12 months or 16 months or whatever, obviously it's been amazing for the price. But in the last few months, obviously you would have hit your all-time high, I imagine, probably early this year and come down quite significantly since then. I'm curious about the SMART program, where you stake your AVA tokens and you get certain perks for that. Those are based on the amount of AVA tokens. Has that changed? Has the amount of those changed? I know with, say, Crypto.com and their credit card, they now make it like a flat rate. It's like the equivalent of 500 American or whatever. So because there was such a wide difference in terms of the value of what you had to stake. Have you had any internal conversations around that? Are the numbers that people see there, is that kind of what it is? It's always going to be that, or does that change?
During that period, it did change, right? So to be a Smart Level 5 member at one stage, you needed to stake 5,000 AVA. And when we were really, really quite up there, when we hit our all-time highs, it was a lot of money that you were putting in to get some travel deals, and was started to really be out of reach for some people who wanted to get started or progress. So we actually halved the amount of AVA that was needed for the tiers, so that we could get more people in there and more people being able to take advantage of these rewards. So look, there is a little bit of flexibility there because it did happen in this period of time that you're talking about where we needed to adjust that.
And any talk about tying it to like an American dollar value or anything because of that because it does seem like, even now you made that adjustment and now things are down again.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that it's not tied to the American dollar, because it keeps it kind of a pure crypto thing, as opposed to always like kind of being tied to
Yeah.
fiat. But with crypto.com, I kind of really understand why they did it. Otherwise, they're going to be changing that, a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what's coming in the future, but I can say I'm aware of no conversations where we're talking about pegging it to a US dollar.
Cool. And so now that you're in crypto, you've been in crypto for a while, you're working in the space. Curious, just personally, are you still investing? Are you like, how into crypto are you these days?
Yeah, I definitely invest and stake. Staking and earning rewards on things is pretty cool. I went through the emotional panic that I'm sure a lot of people did when we went from the highs to the lows and stuff as well. And yeah, look, it's I've had a lot of fun in it, and I've like I got a few friends in it and stuff now as well too. So we do have these conversations. So yes, it is a part of where I certainly invest my money, and I keep a close look at things and projects as well, and I'm looking for new projects and things to put a little bit in and see how they go if I think they're good enough.
Is there anything, Ben, that you'd be willing to share with us that you're bullish on? Any projects? Are you a DOT fan? Are you an ADA Cardano fan? What outside of Trivalla, what are you looking at?
Yeah, so look, I definitely have some interest in DOT as well. There was an advertising platform that I thought could evolve on the blockchain, actually, that I bought into, and I bought into that one at the wrong time. So we'll see how that goes. I quite like Harmony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elrond.
Yeah,
I just kind of working with those guys as well too. I more bought that off the back of we had early meetings with them when they were sort of looking at joining Trivalla.com. I was like, these guys are pretty cool, so I bought some of their tokens back then. What else is there? Terra.
Yeah. Are you an NFT guy at all? Are you into this NFT or gaming frenzy that's going on right now?
No, not yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not yet. I'm watching something called World Token at the moment that's trying to be more than just an NFT marketplace. They're looking at being kind of like a digital Amazon as well. I'm watching what they do and how that goes. But so far, I haven't jumped in 2 feet.
World Token, that's interesting. Yeah, I just pulled it up. Something we haven't looked at yet. We're huge on Polkadot on this channel. Elron Milton's a huge Elron fan. We try to focus in on projects that we think have big potential in the future. But Trivalla, super interesting. Love what you guys are doing. Absolutely love it. And I think it's fantastic. You guys are bringing, you're filling the gap that has been needed to be filled for a long, long time. I am curious. So as an Expedia, I know I'm going backwards here, Milt, I apologize, but I got a question. As an Expedia Gold member, one of the most frustrating things I've ever had with, booking sites in general has been if I have to cancel a plane ticket, if something changes and, I know I booked it and it says non-refundable or whatever it is, and I need to speak to somebody to resolve this issue, it's a pain in the ass. And I know as a gold member with Expedia, they gave me a phone number, a direct line, all this kind of stuff. It was still crap. I'm wondering, how do you guys, as a company of your size, how are you guys managing the support side or support elements that come with travel? Because it's, especially during COVID, let's say, thousands and thousands of people book tickets and then COVID hit. So how do you deal with that intake?
First of all, it's something we spend a lot of time and a lot of money in is improving these processes. And you're right, COVID did put those things to the test. Radka, who came across with me from Travel by Bit, she's in charge of travel operations, and she's scaling up her team. And has been, I guess we are there now, so that we have people in every time zone around the world who can respond on live chat, who is available the support channels we have as well to talk to customers, to help them out when they need to be helped out. So it's something we take really seriously, and we are working hard on. I know myself, I've had problems with one of those traditional OTAs. I think what happened is I booked a room at the same time someone booked it from a different OTA, and they could only allocate, the hotel could only allocate the hotel room to one person. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. Because the hotel doesn't want to cancel it. They say go to whoever you booked it with, right?
Yeah, the hotel's like, well, the hotel didn't even receive the money. They're like, no, that room was booked by someone else. We don't know where your cash is. Sorry, like, so it was a bit of a, but that's it. No, look, it is something we spend a lot of time on. It also can be a thing too, where like if it's not travel related, or it's a question about the platform. We were talking about the community managers earlier. And so the community managers can answer sort of platform related questions, but I can tell you that when it comes to you're in travel, we do have customer support for you, and sort of our KPIs around that are all around how can we reduce response time.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So that's the measurement that we have.
That's huge, because the two biggest things for me when using a site like this is loyalty programs and value adds, which you've got, and customer service, right? Support. If I have an issue traveling, it can be a real pain in the butt. So that's awesome to hear. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I got to say, I've been less adventurous than what other crypto people are doing, I guess it sounds like. I mean, other people were traveling after 2 months. I still haven't traveled yet.
You're stuck in your bubble there, Milt.
I'm still in my cave here, but I'm thinking about leaving, which is why I was so excited to have you on the show today, Ben, because I am trying to plan a trip. I'm actually going to get out into the world again, and definitely going to be trying out Trivalla. So it was exciting to have this chat with you, learn more about it. So thank you so much for this.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Guys, thanks for having me here. And I can't like say goodbye without talking about our concierge. Are you guys familiar with that service?
No, you got to tell us.
Right. Yeah. So our concierge is for big time crypto whales.
You see, I was going to ask Ben this, because I was going to say, can we talk about chartering some jets? But then I said, I don't want to follow this. Tell us right now. So you have a concierge that can help us with chartering jets,
private jets, private islands, private yachts, first class travel.
What's the definition of a whale for you guys?
Yeah. Tell us.
When you guys are sitting around, we're gonna create a whale program. What is a whale?
Beautiful. So the first thing to talk about the concierge is it's not a price-driven platform. So when we're talking about the online travel agencies, obviously we're talking, and we wanted to talk about price comparisons on Expedia. You're competing on price. This one here, we're competing on service, and we're competing on knowledge of our consultants to put together these really out there packages. To join the concierge, you need to lock up $100,000 in travel credits, and then you'll get access to your sort of personal travel team who will put together these kind of once in a lifetime movie star experiences that we have as well. We have booked private jets now, I think on maybe every continent except for Antarctica for crypto whales. We have booked private islands. We've organized exclusive cars like Ferraris and Lamborghini transfers and things as well. There have been Michelin star restaurants that we've been able to book for these crypto whales, these sort of new money people who are looking for these experiences. And it's a sector of the business I'm really excited about. It was definitely new to me. We're out there right now always looking for new travel suppliers to provide these sort of movie star type vacations. But it is a very exciting part of Trivalla and a growth industry for us as we, talk about the growth that's happening in crypto. And there was one stage, there was like millionaires being made every day who might want this next level of travel. We can bring that to you as well. We can tailor make the entire solution.
That's fantastic. When you say $100,000 in travel credit, are you referring to $100,000 worth of staked AVA tokens or actual travel credit?
It's travel credits, right? So you want to buy that in Bitcoin, cool. You want to buy that in Ethereum. You want to buy that in AVA, even in credit cards, whatever it is. Like if you just want to use our travel team, like they have so much experience. So these are people, career travel agents who've worked around the world, been lots of places, who are putting this together. We can get you onto the concierge.
That's amazing.
All right, and you don't have to name any names, but do you ever have a billionaire call you up wanting to pay in Dogecoin for some really crazy big trips?
I can't comment on that.
But speaking
Sorry,
speaking
guys.
of
Melt, I wouldn't pay in
Dogecoin,
Doge, okay? If I were to call him up, I wouldn't be in Doge, all right?
I'm not talking about you, Marv. But speaking of billionaires who are into crypto, what about space travel? Are you guys going to add space travel on Trivalla anytime
Whoa.
soon? That's the new
I would love to.
That's the new high end.
I would love to. And look, it's something that, you know, it's in that joke stage right now. You know, you have an idea and you start like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we did this, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like literally took people to the moon, you know, whatever it was, you know, that's how it starts. Yes, I can say this. Yes, we're going to work towards that direction. I can imagine it being a concierge, you know, type service that we would have. I don't believe yet that the particular space travel companies have opened up sort of their travel agency programs. But yeah, once that happens, I'm committing us to it. Yes.
All right, sweet. Well, we better stake our AVA there.
I know.
Marv, so that
Let's
we can
get on it.
Let's get on the first one that they do.
I love it. I love it. Ben Rogers, CMO of Trivalla.com. Thank you so much for your time today. We're super excited about this project, and we hope to connect with you again very soon to get all the latest and greatest about space travel and much more. Thank you so much, Ben. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we look forward to keeping an eye on the project.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I enjoyed the conversation.